the Divorced Girl Smiling Podcast with your host, Jackie Pilosoff.
No one should have to go through a divorce feeling alone and isolated. That's why I created the Divorced Girl Smiling Podcast. Every show is 30 minutes, and the guests are my Divorced Girl Smiling trusted professionals. They're so wonderful. Financial advisors, divorce attorneys, mediators, divorce coaches, therapists, and more. We talk about every subject that you can even think of having to do with divorce. The podcast is meant to empower you and inspire you and make you feel really, really confident so that you can have a good divorce outcome and a great post-divorce life. You can find the Divorced Girl Smiling Podcast pretty much anywhere podcasts can be found, and always at divorcedgirlsmiling.com. So grab a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and start smiling. Before we get started, I want to tell you about two Divorced Girl Smiling trusted professionals who are wonderful. The first one is divorce mediator and negotiation coach Melissa Wheeler-Farrig. Melissa is based in California. She was a practicing divorce attorney, litigation divorce attorney, who spent so many years litigating divorce cases in California before deciding that there was a better, smarter way to divorce: mediation. She's now a full-time divorce mediator. She's the founder of her practice, High Vibe Mediation. Melissa is so wonderful, and she is just extremely committing to helping divorcing parties find creative solutions so that they can both be happy and end up with a really good divorce agreement that they both feel is fair. If you want to learn more, you can find Melissa at highvibemediation.com. I also want to tell you about a divorce attorney in Chicago named Liz Felt-Wakeman. I have known Liz since 2014. Liz is so wonderful. I really respect her. She's a very well-respected divorce attorney. Her standards are very high for fairness and giving people the best possible divorce outcome. Liz has been a divorce attorney since 1993. I can't say enough about her. If you want to learn more, you can find Liz at wakemanlaw.net. And you can find both Liz and Melissa in the Trusted Professional section of Divorced Girl Smiling. What is it like to be a woman in your mid to upper 50s? Well, I wouldn't know because I'm actually 60. I just turned 60. But I want to tell you why I want to talk about this, because I know so many women, countless, in their 50s who feel old and are concerned and who have health issues. And we're going to talk about all that. But I also want to talk about how wonderful your 50s are, whether you're single, divorced, widowed. You can have a really, really wonderful life in your 50s. And my guest and I, well, my guest is still in her 50s. I'm jealous. But my guest and I are going to talk about some of the things that we're thinking when in our 50s. Well, I'm not in my 50s anymore, but what we're thinking. And we're going to give you some tips on living your best life in your 50s. My guest is Joanne Litman. Joanne is a financial advisor for Eagle Strategies. She's a mom of 4 kids, 3. I don't know why I said 4. She's a mom of 3 grown children. She's divorced. She has a niche in her financial advising practice to help and advocate for women going through a divorce, thinking about one, or after divorce. So hi, Jo.
Hi, Jackie. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on the show, and I'm so excited to talk about being in your 50s. I wish I still was.
50s plus.
But don't you agree with me? You know, there are some things that are harsh in your 50s, health, looks, the way you're feeling. But then there's also some amazing things that we're so blessed to have in our 50s.
I totally agree. And we can't forget that second part of your statement because it's a pretty magical time, I think.
I do too. I'm excited to talk about this. So I want to tell my listeners how I came up with this idea was I wrote an article 3 years ago called What Does a 57-Year-Old Woman Look Like? She looks like moi. At the time, I was turning 57 and I was like sort of reflecting on how I was feeling. And so I wrote a list of like 30 things that I feel like a woman who's 57 might be thinking. And we're going to go through the list, but I want to start with a couple of big ones. And Joe, tell me if you agree with this.
Sure.
Don't you feel like women, even, I shouldn't even say in their 50s, every woman, you look at the mirror, you're nitpicking every little thing you see on your face, on your body, everything. Moles. Like, I'm going to give you an example. I just had my eyebrows threaded. So I get home, I go to the mirror. I was putting on some makeup for this podcast, and I'm like just staring at how thin they are. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's like holes in them. They're, like, why do we do this?
I don't know why we do it. We definitely, I think that is pretty common for us to do. Um, but I think we get over it, right? Don't you? Like I did it more, right? And I know we're going to talk about sort of this sort of transition or these things that we come to know better, in our 50s, late 50s. I can't believe I'm late 50s, but like I think that we come to a different place, like a sort of a place of peace about it. But there's definitely a stage where it's like, gosh, we do notice everything, and the different lines on our faces, the things that don't maybe sit as high as they used to, all those things.
Okay, but were you going to say you did it more when you were younger?
I did it more when I was a little bit younger. Like I think 50 was a big deal, I think 50 was a big deal, and maybe early 50s. But I've settled into a kind of appreciation for so many more things that it kind of balances out like the superficial things.
Well, I just know like whenever I'm looking and being really nitpicky and criticizing myself,
Sure.
I think to myself, well, what are you going to do about it? I mean,
Right.
okay, you could color it in with a pencil. You could go get one of those fake eyebrow tattoos that people get, not judging
Sure.
at all, if that's what you want to do.
Right.
You have choices, or you can do nothing and say, I'm okay with this.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think that, but I mean, listening to you, that does make me, realize that I do have that magnifying small mirror in my bathroom that I get my nose up to and kind of look at everything that's on my face. So, yes, I guess we do. I'm just not as bothered by it as I used to be. So, I think you're right. I definitely notice it all. I mean, look, I go to a dermatologist regularly for the medical side of that. We do think about things differently as we get older. But I'm really not as bothered by those things as I think I used to be. So,
Well, that's kind of what I want this conversation to be. Why aren't you bothered?
mm,
What are some wonderful things that it's kind of like, okay, it doesn't matter because I have this,
sure.
and this, and I'm really freaking happy.
Yeah,
That's like the most important thing.
totally. Yeah.
All right, let's get into the list. All right, so number one I wrote was a 57-year-old can't believe she's 57 because on the inside, she feels like she's 27. Do you feel that way?
Maybe 37, but yes. But yes, I think that, and I don't think I ever, like, I think I feel as good as I have in a really long time. Like something happens, right, where we start to prioritize ourselves for things that are good for us emotionally and physically, that are fulfilling to us, that make us feel good, and getting rid of the stuff that's not. So I do feel better than I have in so many years. And, I think that's a momentum that's going to continue that way.
Okay, now I honestly feel like I have this syndrome where I actually look a lot older than I think I do.
You do not,
So,
well, you
first of
definitely
all,
don't look
no.
your age. So,
Okay,
yeah.
no. Well, this is what I was going to say. People have started treating me kind of like an older lady.
What?
Like, yes, like I hear the way they talk to me and I think to myself, "Oh my gosh, they think I'm really old." And I don't feel that way at all. Like I'm like, "Okay, I'm doing fine." Like,
Yeah, I
they
mean,
talk
even when
to
you
me like
introduced yourself as 60, I was surprised. I didn't realize you were already
really?
60. Yes.
Thank you. But I feel like people are starting to treat me
Mm,
like I treat my mom and her
mm.
friends.
Well, I do think it's interesting. Like, I remember many years ago, my dad said to me, it's really weird when your doctor is younger than you are. So I do think, we get to a point where we're older than like all the other maybe important people, right? Advisors and experts in our life. And like, we're older than them. So maybe that's what you're feeling a little bit.
Maybe. But also we have a lot more wisdom.
Hmm.
And what I've noticed is, let's say your doctor's younger than you or anybody who you go to professionally or know that's in their like 30s or 40s.
Sure.
I don't think they're as happy.
Mm.
I think that the gift of happiness comes with age. Maybe it's part gratitude and part just like really not letting things bother you so much. Like I'm a lot happier than I was. In
I'm a lot happier. I'm a lot more like at peace. Like there are things that you would have in the past made me more upset, riled me up, more of the trivial things, right? Like I just don't have I think we realize like there's no time for that. Like why allow that into your world? We have control over that. Why allow it into your world? I don't know. I really just don't have the time. I don't give it the energy and attention. And so it leaves the rest of my time and energy for many better things in life. And I do feel much happier, much more fulfilled, much more at peace than I ever did. And it's not to say that everything in life is perfect, because I certainly don't want to be sitting here thinking like, oh, we've just both gotten to a place where we have no worries in the world, or where we don't have any stress, or where there's never anything that's really a problem. That is so not true. Like, those
right.
things are still in our lives, right? There's always going to be a level of it. It's not like you and I both overcome everything that's ever happened and there's nothing. No, there's definitely our fair share of challenges. But there's the wisdom is a good word that you used. And I just think like being able to sort out what's really important to spend your time and energy on and what's not comes with age. And this is a time definitely where I feel the benefits of that.
You're listening to the Divorced Girl Smiling podcast. My name is Jackie Pilosoff, and I'm your host. Today, I'm here with Joanne Litman, a 50-something-year-old.
56, we can say it.
Okay. Joanne is a mom of 3 grown children. She's divorced. She is a financial advisor. She's been a financial advisor for a long time. She's somebody who can hold your hand before, during, and after divorce when it comes to making financial decisions. Joe, I think you're great. I would
Thank
recommend
you.
you to anybody. And I've actually worked with Joanne on some things personally, so I have a taste of what she's like to work with. Joe and
Well,
I
thank
are talking about being in our 50s. We're going to take a short break. And when we come back, I want to address this thing you just said, Joe, about how, of course, we have problems, but how you handle the problems in your 50s is a lot different, I think. That's what I was going to say. And then I want to get into some more things like being alone, maybe living alone, having regrets about the past, aging parents, um,
all the things.
hit list, so much more.
Mm.
So we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. I want to tell you about 2 Divorced Girl Smiling trusted professionals who I think are wonderful. The first one is Janine Marie Powell, who is a certified divorce coach and a pre-mediation divorce coach. She's the founder of her practice, SOS Divorce Coaching, and she's been doing this for many years. She personally went through a divorce. She understands the struggles and the heartaches associated with divorce. Janine is one of the warmest, most compassionate people I know. She truly will help you make good decisions during your divorce and just feel more energy and positivity moving forward so that you can have the best possible post-divorce life. If you want to learn more, you can find Janine at sosdivorcecoach.com. I also want to tell you about a wonderful divorce attorney in New Jersey named Sandra Fava. Sandra has been practicing divorce law for 21 years. It's her ability to provide clear, practical advice and at the same time offer unwavering support through a challenging time that has made her successful and well respected. I actually just recorded a podcast with Sandra yesterday, and I have to say I was so impressed. She's so well-spoken, so calm, really experienced, and very dedicated. So if you want to learn more, you can find her at favalawnj.com. And you can find both Sandra and Janine in the Trusted Professional section of Divorced Girl Smiling. Welcome back to the Divorced Girl Smiling podcast. My name is Jackie Pilosoff, and I'm your host. And today we're talking about what it's like to be in your 50s and what is so great about it. Well, we haven't really gotten to what's so great about it yet. We need to. My guest is Joanne Litman, financial advisor. She's been in the business for several years. She can help you if you're going through a divorce, before, during, or after the divorce. Any financial questions you have, Joe is wonderful.
Thanks, Jackie.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. Okay, now remember how right before the break you were talking about how, like, of course we both have problems. And sometimes the problems in your 50s are more serious because now we're talking health issues. Problems of grown children are a lot more than problems of little children.
You got it.
And so some of the problems, obviously people are listening. Divorce is a huge one. That's a big problem that you probably didn't have in your 30s or 20s. So why is it easier to handle it? You said it's because we're more patient. I think we have more gratitude. I think it's also maturity.
Sure. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I just think we learn through our life's experiences, right? And so, I just remember the days where something my ex did would just send me off an emotional cliff, right? And whether it's we're firing text messages back at each other or whether I'm just stewing myself, and I don't have that anymore. Now we have fewer things obviously to discuss as our children are grown, but it's not like it's absent, But I just know like things just don't get to me the same way. And I think a lot of it is, that sort of patience and life
It's so
experience.
funny because I met you, I'm going to say 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Let's say you were 48.
Yeah, young.
And I could never imagine you getting set off like that. That doesn't seem like you at all.
It was kind of the one thing that would set me off would be, issues with my ex. I've pretty much other things I can pretty much had at the time, sort of handle those things. It'd be the one thing that would really set me off. But I think a lot of people going through a divorce feel that way. There feels like there's so much at stake, right? It's your kids, it's your family or your idea of what family was, right? It's like the future. It's so many things. It's wanting to make sure that everything's still going to be okay for you, for the kids, for the family, the in-laws, right? How is this all going to happen? I mean, it's complicated and it's emotional, right? And so, definitely, there were definitely things that would set me off. And now it's just like, I don't know. I can just deal with it, right? I just let it go. I just don't really get involved. I don't engage, and it's just different. And it just comes from experience, I think, of learning like what did all that boiling and broiling that I was doing on my own really do, right? It didn't fix anything. It didn't make it better. It didn't change anybody.
Couple things. First of all, it was much more fresh. There's a lot of anger, resentment. You're furious when you're going through a divorce. That's why you're getting divorced.
Right.
You would try to work it out.
Right.
And so as time goes by, the feelings start to fade and you start to get older. So maybe it's attributed kind of to both when it comes to divorce.
Sure.
I just think problems in general that you have. Like, I'm a really emotional person. I still cry a lot about things if I'm upset.
I'm a crier.
But it's almost like you are able to put it in perspective so much more than when you were young. Like, you're able to say, okay, because we've seen a lot more too. You've
Of
seen,
course.
I had a dear friend die of pancreatic cancer a couple years ago. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than that.
I'm so sorry.
And so it's like, not that I should be so happy that I don't have pancreatic cancer and I should think about that all the time, but it's perspective. It's like, okay, this problem, is it really going to matter in the next, after 6 months or 3 months or a week or a year? How am I going to handle it? What can I control? What can't I control? And then what am I grateful for that either it isn't so bad? It's just a way of handling things with more maturity, with more gratitude, and just, I don't know,
Yeah, I think that
being more
perspective is really
calm
important.
and
Yeah.
being more calm.
Hmm.
Okay, let's read a couple of these other ones.
Sure.
So, let's talk about the woman in her 50s who's in a romantic relationship. So, there's probably people listening who are going through a divorce and just starting to date, or maybe you've been dating for a while. Don't you think when you're in your 50s, it's a huge surprise at how much better of a partner you are to someone?
Yeah, I'm single now, right? But I definitely dated in my 50s post divorce. And yeah, I think there is a difference. Maybe it is the same kind of thing, like perspective and maturity, but I also think that getting into the relationship was different, right? Like, I mean, I got married when I was 23, and I wouldn't take a minute of it back because I have three great kids, right? I met him when I was 16, a very different person at 16 than I was at 50, right? And I knew different things and I wanted different things and I was confident enough to know what I wanted and express what I wanted. And so yeah, I think it is different. Like we're different beings, and it's not about like getting the chance to do it over again as much as I think it is being more confident and at peace with who we are first.
Okay, I love that, and I just feel like you're right about the confidence, this more self-love, but also, like, I feel like when you're older, you have more of an open mind,
Mm.
right? I mean, like, you're just more forgiving, and it's like, it's okay." I don't know, I just think
Well, it goes
people.
back to that the last part of our conversation. It's like the little things feel little, right? It's like we don't get worked up about the same things. I think we have we have a bigger picture view, right? And so if the little things, it's like, whatever. So, they leave their towel on the floor. I don't know, whatever it is, kind of thing. It's like, it's just not going to bother. We don't have time to be bothered by those things. And that's just,
And it doesn't have to be perfect.
yeah, of
Like, I'm not telling people listening that you should settle and get into a
course
relationship
not.
that isn't perfect. It has to be perfect in the sense that you are so happy, like 98% of
It's
the time.
everything that you want. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, like, if he doesn't dress as well as you hoped, or like he's kind of a slob, like Joe said, leaves a towel on the floor, or just little things like cares.
Yeah. I think that definitely comes with the age thing because again, I think that we want to focus on the things that make us feel good. Getting angry about the little things is part of our past, thank God, right? It's just part of our past to just be, I think we create more mm, discomfort for ourselves when we're upset about all these little things all day long. And whether you are or not, I mean, I don't feel like that was how I lived my life, but definitely as I get older, the little things are littler, the bigger things are bigger. And I want to focus on those big things that are good for me, good for whoever else is in my life, and make sure those little things don't get in the way.
All right, let's get into friendships in
Mm.
the 50s.
Yeah.
So I have the same best friends from high school from the age of 13. I met them in junior high, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
That means the world to me.
Sure.
And do you think that it's possible for women in their 50s to make new friends? I think it's hard, but I think it's definitely possible.
I know it's possible, and I'm not sure I would have been able to say it with this much confidence 5 years ago. But I do have a new group of friends that developed my 50s from someone I have known for a very very long time since middle school, I believe. Also, but I used to use the phrase "you can't make old friends." And I'm not going to say that anymore because of this wonderful group of women, because we really do have this amazing connection. We have this very easy friendship that isn't um, competitive, and it's not catty, and it's not gossipy, and it's really warm and supportive and amazing. And I have made a lot of really good friends in my 50s, and I do think it's possible. I
Well,
would not have said this 5 years ago.
Jo, I'm so happy for you.
Thank
That's
you.
wonderful. I have made some friends, but not a group like you. I made
Yeah.
individual friendships that mean the world to me. I guess I brought this up because people listening might be saying, like, oh, I feel really lonely. Like
Hmm.
loneliness and being alone after divorce and being older. That's a really tough deal. But I want to inspire you that you do have that ability to make new friends in your
Absolutely.
50s who can not just be like, acquaintances, they can be really dear friends. How do you do it?
Well, and as we're talking, I'm thinking of some other friends that I've made in recent years that are really close and important to me. And I think it's a couple of things. Like, so this one group I just mentioned, I met through a close friend, right? That's one way, certainly, is like expand your horizons, ask to be introduced or go out when they're doing something or whatever it might be. And I've met a few others through business networking kinds of things, and we've just connected. And so instead of just sort of drawing the lines and being like, oh, it's a professional relationship, we just became friends and started whatever it was, going out for dinner or introducing each other to other friends. And that's really been nice. There's probably two or three there that I've met. And then I've been, things that you like to do. Like I like pickleball, right? So haven't made any close, very, very dear friends from pickleball yet, but I'm starting to interact with the same people somewhat regularly. And we really like spending the time together, and who knows where it'll go. So I think do the things you like to do and you'll meet people you are, have things in common with.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Hmm.
Just start signing up for things
Yeah.
you like. By the way, I'm the only person I know who doesn't play pickleball. And I've introduced pickleball people to each other that are playing, and they're now like really good friends and they're getting together.
Fantastic.
So glad I could help them. I could help myself. But I want to just bring up a really good resource. I was thinking of it now that we're talking about friends. It's called Rebranding Divorce. And they are a divorce girl smiling trusted professional. Two women started the company, Rebranding Divorce. And they offer this thing called the Ready for More community for people who have gone through a divorce or are widows. It's women only, and they plan all kinds of events,
Hmm.
retreats. They have coaching, they have workshops. Check it out at rebrandingdivorce.com. All right. We are sort of running out of time, but I want to keep talking because I love this conversation.
Hmm.
Let's see. I'm running through a few more of these. The 57-year-old woman loves her wine and her chocolate. The 57-year-old woman has a bucket list. Let's talk about this because you and I both, Jo, are two people who have done some bucket listing things.
Yeah.
And I would highly recommend for people to stop saying someday and just
Right.
plan it now. Plan it before you need a hip replacement or your knee is hurting. Go and do it now. What do you think?
I totally agree. Before we get started, you and I were talking about a trip I'm taking in January. I'm super excited about it. I've never done anything like this before. I've never been gone for as long as I'm going to be gone. And I'm really looking forward to it. Apprehensive? Yeah, a little bit about some things. But why, now is the time to do it. I knew I would regret it if I missed out on this. So absolutely take advantage of the time you have. Do the stuff you want to do, whatever it is, big or small.
Right. And it doesn't just have to be trips. It
No.
can be buying yourself something that you really want. Like, don't say someday and wait for it.
Right.
And I'm not saying go broke. Talk to Jo and see if you can afford it. She can help you with your budget. Um, but but just remember that life when you get to your 50s, like we don't know what's going to happen.
Hmm.
And so I'm not saying be pessimistic. You
For sure.
probably have 30 or 40 more years, but
Yeah.
You
I was at an art fair with a friend of mine a few weeks back, and she bought a necklace, and she really fell in love with it, and she didn't plan on it, and probably would have told herself like, oh, I shouldn't spend that much money on this necklace, and she did. And I just saw her for brunch over the weekend, and she was wearing the necklace, not because she said she puts it on like all the time, it makes her feel so good, right? And so it was a little out of her comfort zone, both the style and how much it was, but she was like, I think I could, like, I want to get this. And she got it. It makes her so happy. So you're right. It doesn't have to be like a big thing, but anything you might hold back on, I don't know, push yourself a little and see what it can do for you.
right. It's a 50s thing.
Yeah.
Do it, because what are you waiting for? You've worked all your life, or you've saved all your life, or you were a stay-at-home mom, you're divorced now, you're feeling pretty good about your financial situation. You deserve to have joy, whatever that looks like for you.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think we have time for one more. Let's end with this because I like this a lot. Spirituality.
Mm.
I think that the older people get, the more spiritual they get. What do you think?
I think for some people, for sure. I mean, it has for me, but it's taken such a different way for me than it ever did before. I don't know who or what I'm asking for, praying to, looking to. I don't know what that means anymore. But I know there's some spirit and force and something that's important in my life. And yeah, I definitely find it comforting.
I think what you're saying is like you pray to God, but it's more about spirituality than it is religion. That's how it feels
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, I think that's true. Maybe some of it's in the context of, religion for me, some of it, but there's definitely a lot of it that isn't. I also just don't know, like, what I thought I knew about God, growing up and maybe even as a young adult. I just don't know what that is, but that's not what's important to me. It's more like there's like you said, spirit, force, energy,
If you
something.
Okay, this is not a religious podcast
Right.
or
Right.
anything. But what I want to tell people is that if you do believe in God, use that belief because
Hmm.
it's very calming. It helps you make the difference between what you can control and what you can't.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like everything's going to be okay. I pray more now than I ever have in my life. And that
Mm.
has like pretty much gone like this, just
Yeah.
like upward project.
Trajectory.
Thank you. For the past, I would say 10 years maybe.
Mm.
And I just want to tell people it's comforting. If
Yeah.
you believe in God, it's very comforting to pray, to thank Him for what you have, to pray for things that aren't going well. And I just believe it's extremely powerful.
And if you're spiritual and it's not really about religion or God, I do think, having some feeling that there's, it's bigger than each of us, I think is really important. It is helpful for me.
Love it. Okay. In closing, I want to say that for people who are listening, if you are in your 50s and you're getting divorced and you're feeling like worried about it, Joe and I hope that this podcast helped you because we both can say
Mhm.
you're strong, you're beautiful, you're doing the best you can, and everything is going to work out great if you make some good choices and if you plan, figure out what you want. That's why financial advisors are so important. Talk to Joe, get your budget, see what you can afford, or hire a divorce coach. I shouldn't say or, I should say and. Divorce coaches are great for figuring out what you want in life and how to be happy. And these divorce coaches work with a lot of women, even if you're way into the divorce or after. So get the help you need and just be happy.
I agree. Thank you for having me, Jackie. I appreciate it.
Joe, thank you so much for being on. I always love our
Me
conversations.
too.
This was a good one. If you want to talk to Joanne, you can find her in the trusted professional section of Divorced Girl Smiling, which is divorcedgirlsmiling.com. You can find her under financial advisors. And you can also go to divorcedgirlsmiling.com to read articles, listen to more podcasts, or sign up for my free consult where I talk to you for 30 minutes. You tell me all your issues. It's non-judgmental. It's totally free. It's confidential. And then I will recommend divorce professionals who I think can help you to give you the best possible divorce outcome and after. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you real soon.